and welcome to another Jenna Rae Cakes tutorial. Today I'll be going through how to make sugar leaves with you. So if you're just new on sugar flowers, this is definitely the best way to start. They're super simple, easy steps, no thinning or anything like that, so it's good for beginners. So what you'll need for today is gum paste is the number one thing. So we make our own gum paste at Jenna Rae Cakes. I got the recipe from Maggie Austin, so I'm not going to share just because it's hers. Oh, are you sad about it? You want to hold it? Yeah. Like I was saying, I got the recipe from Maggie Austin. It's actually in her book, which is just over here, Maggie Austin Cake. I highly recommend it if you are interested in making sugar flowers or more intricate cake designs. It's amazing. So this is her recipe. I'm sure there's other ones you can find online if you want, or you can buy store-bought ones as well. I've used Wilton, that was really good. I think Satin Ice has some as well, so that's totally doable too. Now to color your gum paste, if it's a dark color like a burgundy or a black or something like that, I'll color it while I'm making the gum paste. But if not, then I'll color it after the fact. So here for leaves, I use ivory, leaf green, and a brown. So I kind of play with those colors until I get the shade that I'm looking for. So it's better to err on the side of caution because you can color them after. You'll also need some shortening and some egg whites, cornstarch, a large cell pin to roll out your gum paste. This is a cell board, so this has the grooves in it, which is really important for making leaves or petals that need wires. So definitely invest in one of these. And you'll also need wires to put your leaves on. So these are a 24 gauge green wire. So they come in this size, and then I cut them into quarters. I choose green over white because leaves are obviously green, so it makes sense. And then you need wire cutters as well, and a styrofoam board to put your leaves on to let them dry. And then your leaf cutters you'll need, I dropped it, I have a set here of rose leaf cutters. So these are the ones I always use for everything. There's a small, medium, and a large. I'll try to link them in the comments below for you guys. And then also a leaf impression silicone mold. This is one I use for every leaf that I do, so it's really great to have. I'll try to find it as well. And I think that is it. So let's get started. Alright, so the first step we need to do is color our fondant. Gum paste, not fondant. Some people do use fondant for sugar flowers and things like that, but it is so unstable in warmer or humid climates, so it would melt. It's melted on my dummy cakes before when I've done frills with just fondant. Our summers here get super humid, so gum paste I think is the way to go for these kind of flowers, just because then you know they're not going to melt or go anywhere. So you don't want to put all this work into them and then them just melt or wilt or something like that. So I'm taking a chunk of my gum paste. So usually I wear gloves when I do this, but I don't have any here at home. So I'll use my hands and get all stained like the good old days. So you want to start with the less is more approach with your color because you can always add more, but you can't really take it away. So I'll start off with some shortening. Just rub it in your hands and on the table. And knead it in. So I'm going to start with a little bit of green. So probably just one drop of green like that. And then some ivory, probably like the same amount. And I'm going to hold off on the brown for now, see what this color looks like, and then kind of go from there. So I usually do pretty much this color for all my leaves, and then I'll use the petal dust to really bring out the different colors and make it a bit darker if I want to or a bit lighter. But it depends on the leaves that you're making. If a client really wants that like mint green, eucalyptus looking stuff, you might want to go a little bit lighter, use some maybe mint green colors or avocado or something like that. But kind of just play it by ear. So you mix it in. So this is pretty green. I want it to be a bit more muted, so I'm going to add some more ivory and a touch of brown. So if you put too much on, then just use a paper towel and kind of dab as much off as you can. The brown is really runny, so it really came out fast, but I just want to take a little bit off. So you mix that in. So you can be pretty liberal with your shortening, but you don't want to add too much or work it in too much that it's just like really sloppy to work with, then you have to let it kind of sit for a while, or you can knead in some cornstarch to thicken it back up. But I'll show you the consistency that you're looking for. Okay, I'm liking this color, and then I can, like I said, use the petal dust to really make it pop and what I want it to look like. But this is good. It's kind of like an avocado-y green. If you're going for a really dark green leaf, then I would add more right now, but I'm kind of like the lighter colors. Okay. So then I have a Ziploc bag here. So I'm going to take a chunk of it like this to roll out into a log. So this log is going to go on our board. Maybe take a little bit more just to make it easier. So always wrap up your extra gum paste you're not using right away, and keep it in an airtight container when you're done working with it, or else it'll dry out real fast. So then you roll out your log, put it on your board, and kind of push it into the indents until it's about that thick. I'm going to put down some cornstarch, and then you take your rolling pin, and then you're just rolling it. Basically, you're rolling it out until you can see the lines, the grooves in the board come through. So your gum paste can be really thin here. And I like the look of the really thin leaves. I think it looks more realistic. So, it should look like that. So you can see the lines coming through here. And then you pick it up, put it on your work surface. So my counters work really well for this because they're stone, but if not, you might want to put down something that's not like wood. I don't think really would work very well for this, or like a nice cutting board would be good. So I'm going to start with my medium-sized leaf cutter, and then you just take it and put the base at the bottom of the groove and cut. And this long one on the end, I usually make 2 because it's a longer groove. Okay, and then knead your gum paste back together and put it in the bag so it doesn't dry out. And then to insert the wire in your leaves, you take your wire, you dip it in the egg whites, and I always use my hand to wipe off the extra. When I'm done making flowers, my whole hand is covered in egg whites. And then you take your leaf and you kind of hold it at the base and put your thumb over top of the vein. And then you just guide it in, and you can kind of feel it going in. And you want it to stay in the middle of the vein and not poke out either side until it's about 75% of the way up the leaf, just like that. And then you put it vein side down in your veiner, so the vein goes on this deep groove here. And put it on the top. Just apply some pressure. And okay, there you go, it's a little leaf. So then you can manipulate it however you want to. I like them all kind of looking a bit different, so some I'll leave wide open, some I will kind of bend and manipulate the leaf a little bit and squeeze it around the wire so you know that it's on there nice and good. And there you go. So you can see the wire a little bit in here, but when I color it with petal dust, you won't be able to see anything. So, and then you stick it in your board and you let it dry. And then I just keep continuing that process. So I like to make a lot of leaves when I make leaves, just because they're really good fillers for any kind of cake you're doing or sugar flower display or anything like that. And they're pretty simple and they take up space, so that's always a good thing. They're nice and quick. So if you find your gum paste is really sticking to your impression, then just put some cornstarch on there and it should be good. Okay, so there's my first little batch of leaves. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some more of these this size, some more of the big ones, and some more of the small ones. And then you wanna let them sit overnight and dry completely before we start coloring them, or else they can break off their stems and you'll get a lot of breakage, or they'll just kind of wilt, which you don't want. So you can manipulate them a bit as they're drying too if you wanna kind of change the shape. then I'll see you tomorrow when I color them. Hello, welcome back. So now it's time to color our leaves. So these have been drying overnight. I did them yesterday afternoon. So you want to make sure that they dry for at least 24 hours, or else when you start painting them, they can come off the stem or the wire a lot easier. So you want to make sure they're completely dry throughout. So 24 hours should do the trick. So what you'll need now for this part are paintbrushes. So these are just two little paintbrushes you can get from any craft store. I have a smaller one and then a bigger one. You want to make sure that they're more fluffy and not very strong, because our thinned out gum paste is really, really delicate. So you want to use a brush that's not going to break it when you try to color them. And then here I have my petal dusts. So when I first started, I bought every color imaginable. You don't need to do that. I'm going to do, obviously I have some greens here. So you want to have a good light green, a good brighter green, and then a good darker green if you want to have a darker colored leaf, but I'm not doing that for these ones here. So I just have my two light greens here. I have some pink because I want to add some highlights I'm going to arrange these with pink flowers. So I have some pink in here to pick up some highlights on the leaves. I have a light brown and a dark brown, and then a cream color. So that's another highlighter. So in terms of the brands, I usually use Crystal Color. So that's like these are very worn out, as you can see. I haven't bought these in a while, but last time I looked, I couldn't find the ones that I usually get, so I had to get another brand. Edible petal dust. I think they're all the same. You can try a bunch and see what you like. I'll link what I could find in the comments below. Okay, so see, I have my two greens, my pink, my light brown and my dark brown, and my cream color. It's called Magnolia. All right. So I'm going to get to dusting. I'll bring you in closer so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, so here's a better view of the colors. So we have our light green, darker light green, pink, light brown, a cream color, and a chocolate brown. So I'll start on a bigger leaf here. So you want to hold your leaf with your finger in the back, kind of bracing it, just so you're giving it a little bit extra support so it doesn't break. And then you take your brush. So I always start with kind of a lighter green, and I just scoop out some on my paper towel. And then you can kind of mix it together. And then I'm just gonna paint that all over the leaf and see how I like that. So you kind of just go with it and see what's kind of working and what kind of gives you the green that you're going for. So there we go. So I painted over the whole leaf, and now I'm gonna go in with some light brown. And this I wanna really get a lot of it off the brush, just so I'm not putting a huge concentrated chunk of brown on there. And then I'm just going up the center of the leaf. So that's kind of like where it naturally would be a little brown. And then the back. So you want to remember to do the back of your leaves, because if you forget about the back when you're trying to arrange them on a cake or something, you can see the back sometimes and it just won't look very good. So always remember to do the back. Okay. So I'm liking how that looks. I'm going to take some dark brown, just a little bit, and then go right at the base. And then also touch some of the side. So it kind of looks like it's a little getting to the fall or something like that. Okay, so now with the pink, I'm just gonna take a very little bit of it. So this just kind of, if it's like sitting next to a flower in the sunlight, you might be able to see some pink reflected off the petals. So that's kind of what I'm showing here. So I just take it and put it on one side. And same with the white, it's just more of a highlight. So these ones are just putting on like a little part of it. Okay, there you go. That's my leaf. So you can see the difference. It's quite a good difference here. A lot more dimension. Looks a lot more real. And then you play around with it. You don't want to do the exact same thing to every leaf. You want them all to be a little bit different, just like in nature. So keep on going. So I just wanted to point out this leaf here. So this leaf is a little holy. When I had impressioned it, I did a little too aggressive and I got some holes in it, which is totally fine. And then I started brushing it, and because it is so thin, it broke a little bit. But that's okay, because I think it's beautiful, and I think that in nature, obviously everything isn't perfect. So I'm even gonna like highlight the parts where it broke, so it looks like maybe like a little caterpillar came by and ate him or something. So don't waste your hard work here, and like just highlight those little areas. I think it's super cute. There. Looks like a little caterpillar got him. Alright, so all my leaves are colored. I put them on this paper towel so you can see them better on my kitchen marble here. I have medium size and a large size. I didn't make smalls because I ran out of time while I woke up, so whatever, this will do. So I'm going to show you how I attach them together. So when I'm putting them into a flower arrangement, I like to put them in little bundles separately, and then I'll add them to the flowers, and then I'll add that to the cake. So I think leaves are really overlooked in a lot of sugar flower work because they're relatively easy, or people think that they don't look that good. When you really take the time to color them like this and you add them in an arrangement, it really adds a lot of, it just makes it look so much better in my opinion. Looks better and more, I don't know, like more detailed, I guess, more dimension. So you take your tape here and pull it to release the glue. So when I do my leaves, especially for roses and things like that, I'd like to take one of the big ones and then two of the small ones on the side like that. Like that kind of little arrangement. So you just kind of hold them how you want them, and you kind of bend the small ones out. Sorry, I make this look harder than it is. So there you go, that's how I want it. So I just kind of hold it like that together, take my tape. So I'm kind of holding it tight here and then pulling it with this hand and just pulling it around to start off with. Okay, and then you hold it tight and then just twist it down. So this does take some getting used to, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. So I'll do it like this and make little bundles. So I'll do that a bunch and have these available for when I'm starting to arrange my flowers. There we go. Then you can kind of move them around, which is nice. That's why you want to use a 24 gauge wire, because you can move around your leaf if it's not facing the right direction or you want it to look a different way. If you're using something stronger, trying to move it is going to break the leaf, so just be aware of that. And then another way you can arrange them is taking a thicker wire. So this one's an 18 gauge wire. I'd usually use 20, but I don't have any here. I'll cut it in half. And then I'm just going to start it off on the top here, just to get it going. And then I'm going to start with a smaller leaf up here. So I kind of want this to like kind of bend like that. And this is what I usually do for the tops of my cakes, especially with wedding cakes and sugar flowers. I want to build some height. This is a great way to do it. So you can add blossoms in here, or roses, or any kind of flowers. I'm just showing you leaves for now. And then just kind of add your leaves as you go down. Actually, I'm going to do a small one. And then, so if I'm going to put it on here, obviously it's going straight up. So then you just hold it at the base and bend it with your finger so it fits in right nice and snug. Got a big guy. I think I'm just alternate going down, so I'm kind of doing more of like a vine type deal here. Do another big one. So this is my one that was taken a little bite out of, but I think it's so cute. It adds character. So you just keep going down like that, and you can play with them and the arrangement of it too. So these are really good too, because you can fit it into your flower arrangement. If you find it needs a little something, needs a little filler, you can kind of do one of these and make it kind of the shape you need it to be and insert it in your cake that way. So there's that. Yeah, so leaves are a great thing, like I said, to start off with if you're new to sugar, flowers, or gum paste. They're pretty simple to make. It takes a lot of time to color them, but it's worth it in my opinion. And they're just great to have on hand too, to just throw in some arrangements if you need, or onto a cake. It's a good little filler. So that does it for our leaf making tutorial. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned a lot. Like I said, I will link all the colors for the petal dust and the names of them that I used. And the wires are pretty easy to find. Gum paste, Maggie Austin's recipe is my favorite. I'll let her share that with you if she wants to. It's also in her book, Maggie Austin Cake. It's the gold one back there. It's my favorite. Highly recommend if you love making sugar flowers or just want something beautiful to look at. Her work is incredible. I think that is about it. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll answer everything that I can. And happy leaf making. See you next time.